Hey, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be ranking the Evil Dead franchise, all of the movies, and also the TV show. Um, you're going to notice in my title, it's good to best, because I sincerely think that all of the movies are at least good, at the very least. Also, it's my list. You might not agree with it, and it's fine. We all have our favorite. Let me know what's your list in the comment section, or just let me know which one is your favorite Evil Dead project, let's say. Uh, Also, might be spoilers, so watch out. All right, let's start with number six. Number six, Evil Dead Rise. I like this movie. I watched it with one of my buddies like a couple of weeks ago. I like this movie. Um, Couple of things. Well, the characters, they're not very likable. They're not very memorable. Maybe the sister, but other than that, couple of scenes that are good. Mainly the elevator scene. I almost said a ripoff, but it's an homage to the tree scene. Sorry, I'm adjusting my mic. The tree scene in the very first Evil Dead. But yeah, um, I think you can show this movie to anyone that doesn't know anything about the Evil Dead franchise, and they're gonna be fine. They're gonna miss. They're gonna miss out on a couple of things, like we hear Ash's voice on a recording, and the director came out and said that it's Ash Williams. It's an Ash lost in time, something like that. Good little horror movie. It's good. It's good. All right, number five. Yes, controversial. The Evil Dead, the very first Evil Dead. I I did put it low. Again, I like this movie. I This movie is good, and without it, we don't have an Evil Dead franchise. But this movie aged a little bit. It aged badly, honestly. I think it was made in 1980, maybe before that. Anyway, this movie, like, and that very low budget, very low budget, and it's an older movie. I get it, and so some of the things you could hide because some of the things you could hide because the cameras weren't as good as they are today. So you knew you would shoot something, and it would be fine because there was no way you could see that amount of details with those cameras. But now today with Blu-ray 4K, you see everything, and uh like uh masks that are like ripping off the skin, like you could yeah, the patchwork and all of that. It aged a little badly, a little bit. If somebody would want to get started, like would want to get introduced to the Evil Dead franchise, I wouldn't show that movie to them. I wouldn't start with this one at least. Then after that, if they ask if they should see it or whatever, well, watch other. And if you really like, if you're a fan, then watch this one. But again, also the characters, uh, not very memorable. It's what's happening to them that is very memorable. Like the tree scene, I think it's Cheryl, if I remember correctly. And to be honest, I love the Play-Doh scene. You know which one I'm talking about? Like the when there's two of them and they're melting. I think it's Linda and I don't remember the other guy's name. They are melting. It's Play-Doh. It's stop motion. I love that scene. I think that scene is great. But again, it aged a little bit badly. I still love it. Number four, Evil Dead the remake. Yeah, controversial. I don't care. I love this movie. This movie is great. Honestly, it's it has everything that makes an Evil Dead movie. Well, an Evil Dead movie. Dark humor. Well, very very dark humor. The violence, the gore. Uh, Especially the gore. That movie is disgusting, and I love it. That a lot of things that they did in the first Evil Dead, they do it in this one, but they push it even further, like the knife cutting the tongue in half, yeah, all of that. I love this movie. Again, character is not really memorable, except for the guy with the glasses that keeps on reading and reading and reading. Like hell breaks loose, but he keeps on reading. At one point, you're like, stop it, and you kind of hope he dies, but this movie keep on torturing him. And at one point, I started to feel bad for the guy. I'm like, yo, just kill him. Like, I think he had enough. Um, Mia as a protagonist. Again, one thing I didn't like in this, like again, not very memorable. I liked Mia. The only thing is, I like her acting. The only thing I didn't like is the resurrection. I'm just like I don't know. I was also the blood rain and all that. It looks good. It looks good, but I don't know. All I'm saying is I think the third act is not as good as the first and second. That's all I'm saying. But overall, it's a good movie. Now we're getting to the great stuff. Ash versus Evil Dead. I love this series. I I watched it weekly. I love that thing. The first season is my favorite. Everything you would want from a TV show. I didn't spec. I didn't think we would get the amount of uh, gore, violence, all of the good stuff that makes like an Evil Dead project, like over the top, whatever. We got it with this series and even more. The only thing I didn't like uh, in this series was the resurrection thing. When Pablo died, I felt it. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, that's a big chunk of this show. He is a big chunk of this show and he just died. Oh my god." And like I said, I was watching it week to week and then they brought him back. I was like, okay, there's no stakes in that show. I still love it. I still love it, but the thing is, again, uh, when the same thing happened to Kelly, I'm like, she's gonna come back. She's gonna come back somehow, some way. They're gonna bring her back. But overall, I love this show. I hope we get a fourth season, probably animated. They're talking about it. I hope we're gonna see that someday. Uh, I know it wasn't meant as a final scene for this show, but I love the Mad Max final scene. I love it. I think it works well as a final send off to Ash. I think it works. It works. It just shows Ash is always going to be a pervert, but he's always going to be fighting a good fight. Whenever he is, whenever it's in the past, present, or future, he's always going to be fighting. And I honestly, I love the final seal. I think it works well, but also hope that we get a fourth season. Number two, Army of Darkness. Again, great movie. It's the first movie I saw in the Evil Dead franchise. It was on cable. I missed the beginning. And I caught it when they they pushed him into the pit and he's fighting this creature, this deadite. And I'm like, all right, like I was 5 or 6. I was like, all right, like, he's fighting creature in medieval time. All right, I'm gonna watch it. But then somebody tosses him his chainsaw. He catches it with his stump. I'm like, what is happening? And then he pulls out his shotgun. I was, what is happening? Like, I was a stupid kid, by the way, but I guess my stupid little brains couldn't compute whatever was happening. But I just knew I was enjoying it. I loved it, and since then, anytime I can watch this movie, if it's on the, well, I don't have cable anymore, but if it's streaming, like you have that live option, I'm gonna, if it's playing, I'm gonna watch it for sure. I love this movie. I love the ending. It is highly quotable. It's Ash William at its peak. This one ditched the horror element a little bit. Went full on comedy. I don't care. I love this thing. It is great, groovy. I'm like, I know it's not the first time he says it, but it's always fun to hear. Number one, Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn. I love this movie. It's my favorite of the Evil Dead franchise. And one of the reasons I put the first one so low, it's because this one retells all all of the story from the first one in the first 10 minutes. And then new stuff is happening. Well, it's not really, it retells, like in the first 10 minutes it's just him, and it's just Ash and Linda, and then other characters come in. I love this movie. I think the storytelling in this movie is, it's tighter. It's just as long as the first one. I think it's like 85, 86 minutes, and it's a very short movie, but it tells a lot of things. We all remember. I might not. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names, but I remember all of the characters. Like if you tell me like the guy in the overalls, I know who he is. I know what's happening to him. Um, Ash, Linda, Annie, Bobby Joe, I think. Annie has a, I think it's her brother. Henrietta, of course. Uh, Also, I love the practical effects in this movie. I love the costume for Henrietta. I love the makeup for Bad Ash. I love the, oh my god, the Kandarian demon. It's apple rotten tree, something like that. I don't remember how its official name. All the practical effects, I love them. The insanity in this movie. And also, I think it's the most balanced movie, because in all of the movies there's comedy, dark humor, horror, gore, all the good stuff. But this one, I think it's the most balanced. You get everything in this one in like the perfect amount. I love this thing. Some might say that this one aged as well. It did. but I don't think it aged as bad as the first one. The first one is rough to watch at some point. Again, in this short movie, there's a lot of stuff happening. We get There's a lot of lore that we are made aware of. And also, what's fun in this movie, it's Annie, because she's very aware of what's happening. She explains a lot. She knows what the book is and all that. She translates. It's really fun to have a character that is aware of what everything of everything that's happening in the movie. Uh, I just love it. If somebody would come to my place or ask me, okay, let's watch a Evil Dead movie. Which one we're gonna start? With which one we're gonna start? Sorry, I can't speak right now. I would say this one. If they don't mind the older aspect of this of movies in general, I I would start with this one. Honestly, it's my favorite. I think it's the most balanced of them all. Watching this one kind of makes the watching the first one kind of useless. But it's the first one's still a good movie. But I wouldn't want turning them off the franchise. So I would start with this one, and then jump to Army of Darkness and show the remake, the series, and then after that maybe Evil Dead Rise and the very first Evil Dead. Anyway, that's my ranking. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Which one is your favorite? Which one do you think is not as good as the other? Maybe you think that one of them is really bad. I honestly think that they are all at least good. That's my honest take. That's my opinion. Let me know in the comment section which one do you think. Again, make your own list and put it there. If you like this, subscribe. It would help me out. Anyway, see you guys soon.